Here we go.
Welcome to Lighting for Profits.
All right.
Powered by Emery Allen.
Get rid of your excuses.
Your number one source for all things landscape lighting.
That's where the magic can happen. You can really scale a business.
We really had to show up for each other.
From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing.
You're a scaredy cat salesman, Kurt.
We discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
What do you think a hippo has to do with your business, Ryan?
Usually it's some weird childhood thing. Some bully kicks your butt.
I think the key factor here is trust.
Here is your host, Ryan Lee.
What is up? Welcome to the number one landscape lighting show in Michigan. Today, guys, we got an awesome show lined up. We've got our guest, Mr. Colin DeHaan from Gutter Launch, and he happens to live in Michigan. And excited to hang out with you guys. Honestly, this is one of my favorite times of the week. We are Lighting for Profits, powered by Emery Allen, broadcasting live from the Landscape Lighting Secret Studios in Lehigh, Utah. Anyway, guys, it's America's favorite and sometimes favorite, Canada's favorite landscape lighting show. But I'm really excited to have our guest on today. It's Colin DeHaan, and he's from Michigan, and he's an amazing entrepreneur, young guy that's absolutely killing it. And there's going to be a lot to learn about growing a business, being an entrepreneur, but also how to take action. I mean, this guy's a total stud, faces fear head on, and you can learn a lot from him. So make sure you guys stick around. Want to remind you, I'm still asking for 5-star reviews, and I'm going to keep doing this, not only because I do want 5-star reviews. It makes me feel good. I'm like, yes, thank you. And by the way, thank you so much for you, those of you that have given me a review on Apple or Spotify. Apple, you actually get to write something. But people have been doing it, and it's so cool. So I just want to thank you guys so much for doing it, and remind you, if you have not, I'm still accepting those. But really, I also want to remind you guys, are you asking for reviews in your business? Because it's crazy. When you don't ask for them, you don't get them. And when you ask for them, you get them. Like, generally, people are nice. Like, they want to help you, but they're busy and they forget. So here's your reminder to give me a review and ask your clients for reviews. And I want to remind you guys, Landscape Lighting Live is coming up February 1st in Tampa, Florida. Go get your tickets now. We're selling a bunch of tickets now. All of a sudden, the Christmas light season is done. I knew all these holiday lighting guys were going to be fat with cash and looking for a tax write-off. And that's what this is, right? And so if you're in the holiday lighting industry and you're looking to get into landscape lighting, keep your guys busy year-round, I mean, you got to be in Tampa. I'm telling you guys, you're not going to want to miss out. This is a Landscape Lighting Live, unlike any that we've done. And all of them, we have amazing reviews, tons of awesome video testimonials. But this one's even better because we're bringing down 4 mentors. I've hired 4 of my clients. They're in Landscape Lighting Secrets. They're going to come down and help mentor as well and teach. We're doing hands-on, how to design, how to install, like all the technical stuff. And then we're also going to do business, like pricing, sales, marketing. Like, you got to be there. We're limiting it to only 50 spots. So there's people that have already bought 2, 3, 4 tickets for one company because they're bringing their key employees, their partners and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to sell out. And I would hate for you to be like, oh yeah, I think he was kidding. Like, I'm not kidding. It's not fair to say we're limiting it to 50 and then let 51 in. So get your ticket now before it sells out. LandscapeLightingLive.com. All right, guys, I want to thank Emery Allen. What's the best way to stand out of the crowd? Well, being different. Set yourself apart from others in the lighting industry and impress your customers by installing Emery Allen bulbs in your next project. You'll discover a higher quality of product across the board, from the bulbs themselves to the top-tier customer support you can expect to get if you have any issues or questions, concerns. Right now is the best time to make the switch, so what do you have to lose? Just email the owner. Right now, he's still doing his own sales, guys. So this is an excellent opportunity because he's a genius. He can help you with installs and designs and everything. But just email him to get your account set up, tomg@emeryallen.com. Again, that's tomg@emeryallen.com. Don't waste your time going to the website. Just email tomg@emeryallen.com and get your account set up. We'll even get you discounted contractor pricing. Just mention that you heard about him here on Lighting for Profits. So again, guys, we got Colin DeHaan coming on. And that even rhymes. So that sounds pretty cool too. But he's coming on, and you're going to want to stick around. Excellent guy. down to earth, super relatable, started several businesses now and is teaching others how to succeed in business. And you're going to want to hear his story. You're going to want to learn from him. Before we have him on, I went viral. Well, I almost did. Okay. So one of my videos last week, I posted a video on, I always post on Facebook and Instagram, and then I usually forget about TikTok and some of the other ones. But it's funny actually. So I posted this video, and all I was doing was hyping up some new training videos that I'm coming out with. Okay. And it was a 30-second clip. I posted it. And what was funny is, like, I don't get that many views, you guys. I'm not like a viral guy. I don't even know what I'm doing on social media. I just post stuff. I try to add value. I just try to add valuable content, post stuff that I think that would be beneficial for you. Right. And Lindsay came to me that night. I had just posted it like an hour or two before. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, did you see your video already has like 300 views?" And I was like, "What? 300 views?" Like, that's funny because, like, that's going viral for me. And hey, what's up, Ashley? Yeah, I got the blue blockers. They're definitely not meant to be cool, as you can tell. But I guess, I don't know. My eyes feel better not looking at the blue light. But so anyway, Lindsay's like, "Yeah, you got 300 views." I'm like, "Dude, we went viral, right?" And I don't really care about views because, again, I'm not like, I'm really trying to just help the landscape lighting industry and the lighting industry in general. So 300 views is usually pretty good for me. I'm pretty satisfied with that. And by the way, those training videos, they're gonna be lit. I can't wait to release them. We're still editing some stuff. We're moving some things around. I'm making this little mini course, but they're gonna be amazing. So I posted this little snippet, 30 seconds, and it was kind of crazy. I was like, "Oh yeah, you know what? This would be a good one for TikTok." And I don't know why I thought that, because I always forget to post stuff there. But I posted on TikTok, and that was at, like, I don't know what time at night. And all of a sudden, like, that night, I check it, and it already had like a couple thousand views, which is like, whoa, I'm not used to that. And then, like, the next morning, I wake up, it had like 300,000 views. I was like, "Oh my gosh." And again, I don't measure my success by views on TikTok by any means. I was laughing because I'm like, "Who's watching this video?" It's a 30-second lighting video. And then it went up to like 400,000, and then 500,000. I'm like, "What? 500,000 views?" And then I started looking at the comments, and the comments were cracking me up. I basically had this video, and you guys can go check it out. Go to @Landscape Lighting Secrets on my TikTok. But I had this video of me showing, like, what one light on a tree looks like versus two lights. That was it, 30 seconds. And apparently it pissed some people off for a lot of different reasons. And so I just got kind of reading some of the comments. Here's some of them. Someone said, "We need much stricter laws on light pollution." And then one of my clients, if you guys don't follow him, follow Captain Matt Outdoors on Instagram and TikTok, all that. So they said, "We need much stricter laws on light pollution." And he replied, "F that." And I edited that. And then someone else said, "We need stricter laws on liberals reproducing." So I had some people coming to my defense, which was cool. But then there was others that were saying, "Definitely not in the tax bracket that supports having one light per tree, let alone multiple lights." So I thought that was funny. "Waste of electricity. But wait, there's more. If you add flex tape to the mix, you're awesome," which I don't know what that means. I don't get it. "Two lights in this economy?" Okay, that was a good one. Oh, here's a good one. "This is so perfect for showing my neighbors how much better I am than them." Like, hell yeah, it is. I like that. Another one. Oh, here's a good one. "The extra light is another $800. They must have been listening to my podcast," right? And then someone replied to that comment that said, "But the depth is worth it," because I talked about how it creates more depth in the scene and stuff like this. So, um, and then someone said, "You can charge twice as much." They immediately went to, like, me just adding another light because of cells, not because it looks better. "If you put more lights on a tree at night, it will be brighter!" Exclamation, a bunch of exclamations. "Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it," which was a direct quote from my video. I don't know what it is. I like getting roasted. I like it when people make fun of me. So it just makes me laugh. I guess I'm supposed to get mad, but um, you're a terrible salesman. Thank you. I don't want to be a good salesman. I saw, let's see, with two looks much better. So that's cool. Someone actually agreed with me, which was very, very few people. "Oh, I sick of these single light peasants." No, I like that one because I don't like single light peasants either. Everyone needs 2 lights a tree. I'm so unimpressed. I'm like, thank you. And then someone else, oh, please tell me what kind of lights those are in the grass. I cannot find a solid, reliable light to stay lit all night. They can't find a light to stay lit all night? I mean, what has this world come to? The quality out there, right? Anyone who installs uplighting is an ass. I had no idea. My neighbors have been trying to do the DIY version of this. It's killing me how unprofessional it all looks. Another one, horseshit. My electric bill could never. Oh, poor birds trying to sleep. There was other ones about the bugs and the birds, and people were really worried about the bugs and the critters. I was like, wow, why I had no idea. Uh, Only an idiot places 2 lights on the lawn like this. The lights need to be close to the tree. I don't even know what this word is. The Guido? Is it Guido or Guido? Whatever it is. The Guido look has been over since 1985. And I didn't even have these glasses on, you guys. I was just at night moving lights around. Why the personal attacks? I just don't get it. And I know I'm supposed to be more mad, but I'm not. I just think it's funny. Okay. So why am I sharing this almost pointless story with you? Well, a couple things. So let me pull up the stats here because this was interesting. Oh, wait, we got some comments. The glasses, you are a star. Thank you, Melody. Thank you. Reinforcement. Thank you. Affirmation. Brian Grote, you should do more roasting Ryan podcasts. Exactly. I actually like this. So if you guys are live and you've ever thought, of saying something to me, but you just didn't dare because you thought you'd offend me, this is your chance. Just say it and let's just get it over with. Okay, so in the data here, by the way, you guys, up to 1 million views. It got to 1 million views. I mean, it's crazy. Like it's just a 30-second video. But I want to share some with you because now I'm gonna reel it back in. We're gonna land the plane here. A couple of things I learned was, well, let me share the stats first. 1 million views now, and it's slowing down. Like I literally got like 300,000 or 400,000 within 24 hours, and then it just kind of started to fall off. But now we're at 1 million views, 30,000 hearts or likes, whatever that. I seriously don't know what it is in TikTok, but 30,000, 500 comments, 506 comments, and some of those were Captain Matt, kind of being a smart aleck back, which I appreciated because it was hilarious. Like, go and read his comments alone, you'll die. So not that many people commented, actually, probably 300 people commented. But here's what's interesting. Compare the 300 comments to 2,028 shares. 2,000 people shared this 30-second video. And then what's even more impressive, 6,229 people saved it as a favorite. So think about that. 6,000 people saved it as favorite, but yet only 300 to 500 people commented, right? And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Total playtime. This blew me away. It's a 30-second video. Total playtime, 6,172 hours, 24 minutes, and 23 seconds. 6,100 hours of playtime on a 30-second video. I don't even know what that means. Is that even a thing? Like, what? How do you get 6,100 hours out of a 30-second video? I guess it's just math, but okay. The 30-second video, average watch time, 20 seconds. 20 seconds. I was like, come on, it's a 30-second video. You can't watch the whole thing. But 30% of the people did watch the whole video. And I gained 8,000 new followers, which I'm not sure if I want these people as followers or not, to be honest, with some of their comments. But here's what I want to share. Because the ratio from comments to shares to saves as favorites, right? Think about that. So here's some of the things that I wrote down, things that we learned from a video like this. Number one, you never know what is going to hit. Although it does help to post something controversial, and I had no idea that 1 light versus 2 lights was going to be controversial. So again, this was not planned. But you never know what's going to hit. And so if it's controversial or political, it's probably going to get more views and stuff like that. Number two, people generally don't know what they're talking about. Like I had people saying, well, what about the bugs? What about the bugs? What about the critters? I'm like, why don't you open up your front door and let the bugs and critters in your house if you're so worried about them, right? They don't know what they're talking about. They're talking about electricity and how much it's going to cost. They think solar lights cost less than low voltage lights, right? They don't know that solar lights require batteries and suck and everything else, right? They don't know that low voltage lighting costs hardly anything to run, a couple dollars a month to run a 20, 30 light system, right? Number 3, the minority is typically louder than the majority. Okay. And this is the problem with most of the world today. The minority is typically louder than the majority. And that's proven by the 300 people who commented, right? 300 comments versus 6,000 saves. Okay. The people who saved it were like, dude, this is good. I had photographers and other designers commenting like, wow, this is a cool tip. I just learned how to create depth in my scene, right? So 6,000 people saved it, but none of those people commented, maybe a couple, right? So the minority is always louder than the majority. So I'm asking you guys, what can we do about it? What can you do about it? What side are you going to land on? Number 4, it helps to be friends with Captain Matt because, he's got your back and he comes down with and rains down on the comments. I like that one. Number 5, the vast majority of the world has no idea what landscape lighting is. They have no idea. Like they were like, what, why would you light a tree? Like they have no idea, and we think, well, everyone understands what landscape lighting is and the value and the benefits of safety, security, mental health, like all these things. No one knows anything. No one knows what landscape lighting is and what the benefits are and how it's more than just disturbing a bug's life, right? Number 6, and the final one, the vast majority of people have a misunderstanding of what light pollution is and dark sky in general. Okay, we as an industry need to inform and educate. And I think we can all do a better job using social media to do this. I mean, this video proved it. It's like, this didn't help the cause, but it helped get the word out, right? So someone, maybe you, is going to start making videos of the real benefits of landscape lighting and how it is not light pollution when done correctly, right? And I talked to one of the guys in that works for Dark Sky. He thinks that anything under 6,000 lumens is like not a lot. And you guys, if you're in the low voltage lighting business, you know that like we do most of our lights with like 300-400 lumens at most. And they're saying like anything under 6,000 lumens is like low. Like what? They have no idea. Even the dark sky people don't know what we do. So most people don't know what light pollution is. They don't know what dark sky is. They think light pollution is any light. We have shrouded fixtures that's aimed at something is different than a huge street light that's actually putting out light pollution, right? All right, guys, that's enough. I just want to share that with you because I actually did learn quite a bit. And I made a list of those. So if you haven't checked it out, go to TikTok and follow me at Landscape Lighting Secrets. Enough about me. I want to get to our guest. You guys ready? I know I am. Let's do this.
Welcome.
Whoa.
to
All right. We got to reset, timeout, redo. No, we got to get our guest coming on here. I got my buttons, guys. I got them mixed up. Let's get our guest coming in. What is up? What is up? Welcome to the show, Mr. Colin DeHaan.
Well, welcome. Thank you for having me, man. I'm stoked to be hanging out with the one and only Ryan Lee. Every time we get together, it's just a blast. So happy to be doing this.
I love it, man. And I failed to mention, you guys, Colin and I are in a mastermind together. And that's been awesome, by the way, because I've gotten to know, I knew you, we had met before. We even had you on the podcast before.
Right.
But now we get to know each other. We're involved in more calls. We had our in-person meetup and stuff like that. So it's been fun to get to know you better and feel some of your energy. I'm like, holy cow, I got a ton to learn from this guy. So I'm excited to have you on.
Well, you know what, man? You have helped me with my abs and stuff because I just laugh nonstop when I'm with you. And
Nice.
It's a blast. I love hanging out with you any chance that I get. So
I love it.
Thank you for being you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I usually can't add much value in some of these rooms because I'm like, they say to like get in rooms that are bigger than you. And I'm like, oh crap, I made it in one. Like, what do I do? I'll just make them laugh because I don't want to be kicking out. So
Right.
It's working.
I feel that, man, for sure.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into business in general? How'd you get into the gutter business?
Yeah, man. So 9 years ago, I started working at a building supply store selling roofing, shingles, siding, gutter, all that stuff. And we'd get calls all the time like, hey, who do y'all recommend for gutter? And I was like, everybody that buys here either shows up high or doesn't show up, right? I can't really recommend anybody. I just got talking to my manager one day and I was like, shoot, man, if I just answer my phone and show up, I'll make double what I'm making here. And that's how I got into it, man. That was it. So I worked 1 year in supply. I got a ton of relationships because I don't know, I just connected really well with all the builders and whatnot, and went out on my own and just started hounding them all with the phone calls. And shoot, man, year one, we were the largest gutter company in the area. So rest is history from there. So been running my business now for 8 years, and the last 2 years at full automation. I work, 1-2 hours a week on my business with my manager, my general manager at this location. And this year we opened 3 new locations, so I'm from Michigan, and we have a second location about an hour and a half from us. And then we opened 3 new ones this year, one in Colorado, one in North Carolina, and one in Florida. And that's been a real learning curve, to say the least. I thought I kind of had business by the balls, for lack of better terms, and got into that and realized how little I knew again, right? So just a lot of little things that fall through the cracks when you do that. And
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, that's my business journey a little bit.
No, I love it. I want to kind of dig into some of that because there's, as you know, there's a lot in those 9 years, and we won't have time to cover it all. But like, what do you attribute your like immediate success out of the gate to? Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'll start a business, and then the first year it's like they didn't even do like 150, 200,000 in sales, and then after 18 months they just go back and get a job.
Yeah, right. Well, you know what? I only did about $150,000 in total sales. But this was 2016, right? So times were a little bit different then.
So what'd you do after that? Were you encouraged by that? Were you discouraged?
Yeah, man. I mean, I cleared 6 figures personally. So, so I was like, shoot, I was making 40 grand a year at my last job, right? And so we were balling. So I thought, right?
Yeah. So what'd you do at that point? Because you're like, hey, I just doubled my income.
Right. I spent it all.
Spent it all.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of jet skis and cool stuff. Nice. And, no, I did. I spent it all, and I don't know what I spent it on. I was just running business like a cowboy, right? I was just shooting from the hip, trying to figure this thing out. And yeah, I mean, my immediate success just came from hustling, man. Like just nonstop on the phones, letting everybody. I mean, I literally called every contact in my phone and let them know what I was doing now, and asked if they had any friends or family that I could help out. Right. And I mean, literally every day I was getting 2 to 5 estimates by just going through my phone contacts, going through my Facebook friends, and sending messages. Like I had a wife who was a stay-at-home mom with a 6-month-old kid. We had $600 maybe in our savings account when I quit my 9-to-5 job. And I was like, I got to make this work. So I just did.
Nice. Well, one thing that I've really admired about you over the last couple of years, I've gotten to know you, is you're one of those guys that does, I mean, if you are afraid, you don't show it. You know what I mean? Like you're like, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like lack of fear or just stupidity, but yeah, it's one of the two.
But no, it's not stupidity, because if you look at the most successful people that I know, they all have that similar trait in common, and they're willing to take risk. And I think stupidity is like not doing, I mean, it's just, blind risk, and there's a certain element of that. Like risk by definition is you don't know the result, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man, it's a trait that you've got that you're willing to do that a lot of others aren't. And when you decide to quit your job, you got 600 in the bank account, like you decide to go all in. Were you born with that, or do you develop that trait? Like, how do you have that?
Yeah. You know what, man? I've never thought about, was I born with this? Was this something that I've had my whole life in me? And thinking back, like, yeah, I was always the one that, growing up, we rode pedal bikes all the time, right? And we'd build a jump, and I was always the first one to jump it.
You were.
I just didn't have the fear. Like, okay, let's go. And it always kind of worked out, thank God. But yeah, I was always kind of the one that was just like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. And
well, a lot of people ask questions like, so you got this bike jump in front of you. It's like, well, what happens if I crash, or what if I jump too far or jump too little? And you're like, man, when I land this thing, my friends are going to be cheering and I'm going to be the man,
Yeah, that girl right there, she's gonna love that.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was what was going through my brain then,
Right.
But
So same with business. Like, man, the economy's changing right now. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if I don't get as many leads as I should?
right.
And you're thinking like, man, I can't wait to start another location.
Yeah, I'm
It's gonna
thinking,
be so
man, that's
cool.
really gonna impress my wife.
Right. That same girl is still around.
That's right. That's right. So no, but I mean, yeah, it's risk, right? We all know that there's some risk involved in all of it. And I just go for it, man. Like I bet on myself, I guess, in trust that I don't know, I guess I bet on myself, but I also believe that, that God has blessed me abundantly in many ways in my life. And how much more does he care about me than the birds of the air? Right. So I don't believe it's going to be stripped away from me unless it needs to be, right? Unless I start idolizing all of this stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, one of the things I believe is like when we go and take action, we're going to have a certain failure rate. None of us have a perfect record. There's a certain failure rate. And I think one of the things that is cool about you, and again, that I admire that I'm trying to implement in my life is like, you just go accelerate the failure rate. You're like, we might be taking notes together, might be hearing the same thing. And by the next day, you've already got like 18 things implemented. And I'm still thinking about the first one. And like, so that means you did 18 and 6 of them failed. So you're 13 steps ahead. That's like, I feel like that kind of sums up why you're so successful is like, you're just going to go get it over with. And yeah, some things are going to suck and some things maybe you regret some things like, okay, I probably wouldn't have done that had I thought that through,
Sure.
but it doesn't matter because now you know what not to do.
Right. You're 100% spot on, man. I might not implement all 18 things. I might go like 10 of the 18 things. Don't give me more credit than I deserve. But yeah, I do. Like, we're in that same the group with Josh, and I'll have a call with Josh, and he's just like, man, why are you not doing this, this, and this? And I'm like, you know what, you're right. And literally on that call with him, I'll just text my team like, hey, we're doing this, this, and this tomorrow morning. Boom, let's go. And it happens. So yeah.
Well, kind of along those lines, you mentioned, you started these other locations and you've learned a lot, which means that's another way of saying like it was hard and not as easy as you thought. Same thing. I mean, you could have waited 5 more years until you got the whole process perfected and better. And what if this and what if that? But you took action. You started these new locations. Maybe talk about that a little bit. Like, how did you feel like, okay, I'm ready? Because some people feel like they get to that point where they're like, yeah, I've kind of saturated my market, at least with the marketing I'm doing. I got the low hanging fruit. Do I start another business, like another vertical? Do I add landscape lighting? Do I add gutters? Or do I go start in a new location?
Yeah. This is one of my favorite like mindsets that I deal with regularly. I wasn't ready. Okay. There was not an inch of me that felt like I was ready to tackle these locations. And like one location in a different state is a big hurdle. And I opened 3 of them in a matter of 2 months. All right. So from July 7th to September 7th, I opened 3 businesses in 3 different states. This is licensing, this is insurance, everything that goes into this, right? And I did it because I was feeling comfortable in having what I have, and it works. And I started to let my mind kind of wander into different ideas. And okay, maybe I'll try real estate here. Maybe I'll do this. And I started getting out of my lane, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna stay in my lane. I know gutter, and I know gutter well. Okay, what don't I know about gutter? Let's launch these 3 locations, and I had the right people already kind of picked out, and I just went for it, right? Still to this day, right? We launched 2 in July and 1 in September, and it's still not figured out, right? Like, I just had a call with one of the partners today, and I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry. We still don't have this all ironed out. We don't have a good way to track these expenses that are yours that headquarters is paying for. We're kind of guessing at this right now. Like we're getting closer, and I'm working with, this vendor, and so they can give us better reporting so that it's really clear. But we're kind of guessing. Once we have clear data, we'll correct whatever it looks like, on the books. But we're figuring things out as we go, and we're pushing our vendors. I love Send Jim. I'm good friends with Daniel Dixon, the CEO. And so I was just texting with him like, hey man, any way that we can make this cleaner? And he's like, I'm on it. Like, I'm talking to developers. We're going to figure this out. It might take 2 weeks, but we're going to get it for you. Let's go. Just having that open communication, and letting your vendors help you rather than trying to have a Zapier connect here and this and that. And like, it just turns into a mess. So.
Yeah, I love it, man. I mean, I'm a big fan. I don't know who came up with the phrase, but it's something like this. I wrote it down when you were talking: imperfect action versus perfect procrastination.
Right.
And a lot of us are really good at perfectly procrastinating. Perfectly.
Big time.
Do I have an accent? What's going on?
Right.
That's easy to do. Like think about it and procrastinate and blame it on, well, what are we going to do with that problem and that system? It's like, right. I don't know, but I would rather just take action and get it going and think about the lives that you've impacted and are going to impact because of what you're doing and the ripple effect that's associated with that.
Right.
Or you could have just stayed small, stayed $1 million, or I don't even know what you're doing, but stayed whatever you're doing in your town. And that would have been fine. But right. now you're going bigger. So I like it.
Yeah. It's a blast, man. I like pushing the limits. And when I start feeling comfortable is okay, I gotta figure out a way. I gotta drop a gear here and get those RPMs up and go, so.
Yeah. I mean, growth is painful. Like it hurts, but I just feel like if we're not growing, then we're dying. And not everyone agrees with that. Like some people are like, no, you can grow to a point and then just stay here and like live the life or, have that lifestyle. But I've never experienced that. I feel like I'm either growing or dying. So
that's right.
So show off your shirt there. I know you're always sporting the give bigly.
Yeah. So our motto is we win bigly so that we can give bigly. Right. And that's it, man. Everything. So in our gutter launch community, that's a whole different business I have where I help gutter businesses launch their business. But our motto is we win bigly so that we can give bigly. And everything from, giving cars away to I have dreams of giving homes away. Right. So it's like I said earlier, God's blessed me with a lot and I want to be a good steward with it. So it's my mission to give really, really, really big. So
I love it.
That's it, man. We gotta keep winning so we can keep giving.
I like it. Give bigly, guys. So yeah, you mentioned gutter launch. Tell us a little bit about that. And why did you decide to? It's not that you even pivoted. You still got your businesses. You're still
right
in the business as we say it. But what is gutter launch?
Yeah, so gutter launch, I actually built. It's a whole online platform with every train. It's a full LMS for every position in a seamless gutter company. All right. So your admin, your technicians, your salespeople, your management, all of it. Exactly how we set up everything, every document, policy, procedure. This is all the automations and the CRM. This is, and then of course the training, right? And all of that. And I built it to not sell to people. I actually built it for my grand plan of going nationwide so my partners could get spun up faster, right? So I built it and I got this buddy that is in another mastermind of mine. And I was like, hey, can you check this out? I know you've done some franchise and stuff like that. And I didn't know the level of franchising he had done. It turns out he was like a pivotal part of helping Jimmy John's get their franchise going. Some really big names. And he looked at it and this was all via text. And I sent it to him, like gave him access to the Google Drive, right? It wasn't even built out on the platform yet. And he calls me and I don't know the legalities of being on your podcast, but he says, Colin, what the F, but he actually said it, are you doing? Why is this not a franchise? This is better than 98% of the franchises I've seen. And I was like, what? I'm like, no, dude, I'm not going to do a franchise. Those are scams. And he's like, well, you need to start selling this because this is gold and this is going to change so many lives. Like you need to give this to people. And I was like, all right, I'll think about it. And met with a couple of my other mentors and they were like, yes, do this. So long story short, we started offering gutter launch to people and we help people launch their gutter businesses. So this can be, we have really two avatars, existing gutter businesses who are struggling, hitting that wall that we've all hit in entrepreneurship where, we're just stuck, whether you're stuck running around doing all the sales or you're stuck still on the truck, right? We've all hit a wall somewhere, and we help them take it to the next level. And what we're experiencing with existing gutter companies is guys 2 to 3xing their weekly revenues. So going from, $10,000, $12,000 a week to $25,000, $30,000 a week. And this is per truck, right? So huge numbers that we're seeing from this. And then helping people add it onto their existing service business. So we deal with a lot of roofers, pressure washers, hopefully landscape lighting people soon, but window and door guys, a lot of them who gutters just kind of make sense for them to add on to their existing business. So those are our clients. That's who we serve. And it's a riot, man. I mean, we got guys
awesome,
that jump in with no gutter experience and they'll do $40,000 to $60,000 in their first month. I mean, we got one dude that jumped in and did almost 6 figures his first month and just blew everybody's brain. So
Yeah, that's so awesome. It's amazing, man. I love that you're doing it, because there's a lot of people out there. You think about yourself 9 years ago, if you would have walked into a program like that. I mean, you've got it all laid out for them. It's perfect.
Yeah, I wish I had something like that, but I didn't know what I didn't know. Right,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have bought Gutter Launch if I'm being completely honest, because I was, still am stupid, right? Yeah, I would have been like, I'll figure it out myself. I didn't know what a business was. I thought it was just I own the LLC, so now I've got a business, right? I had no idea that, I don't have anything worth a dime if it's all dependent on me. Right.
Yeah.
So
It's so funny you say that, because I've actually said the same thing. Like if someone says, I'm not interested, or they make fun of me online or whatever, like I don't care, because I'm like, you know what? I probably wouldn't have joined Landscape Lighting Secrets either. My mindset was so off, and it was like, I don't need that. Look, I'm already succeeding. I'm doing it this way. What are you going to teach me? Just all that stuff. So
right.
And now it's ironic, because now both of us are in that position where we've got the program that we probably wouldn't have signed up for.
Right. But you know what? Like we can relate because we were in that place, right? We had that mindset. And I mean, I had an 18, 19-year-old kid who worked for a business I actually almost bought 2 hours south of me. And he quit, found me on social media and was like, dude, I'd love to meet. Like I'm in Michigan too. And so he came up, like hung out at the office for a few hours, like got to see a real business. And I was, I told him about Gutter Launch, and he's like, oh, that sounds really cool. So I like pulled it up and I showed it to him, and I was like, seem like something you'd benefit from in business? He goes, no. I was like, no. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, all right, man, go for it. Right. But, there are people that are just in that mindset, but also like we get the opportunity to teach them and pull them out of that mindset, right? Like the goal is not for you to hang gutter or install lights the rest of your life. It could be, right? Maybe that is your goal, but most people's goal is to have a business that they can sell when they're done with it. Right? Yeah. And you're not going to have that if you're the person answering the phones or doing the sales or showing up for the install. Like it just ain't going to happen. Right.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I just have so much respect and admiration for like the people who join Landscape Lighting Secrets, the people who join your program, and others, because I'm like, man, I didn't have the ability to make that decision. Like they're willing to, lower their ego. They're willing to do a lot of things that I didn't. So I just have so much respect for these people. And then not only to join the program, but then to implement it and admit that, okay, maybe there is another way of doing this, or maybe I can get better, even if it's just 5%, 10%, whatever it is. Like, man, these people are amazing. So I thought 2 people were going to join my program. I was like, there's only going to be 2 people. Now I'm like, what? Like people actually like this stuff. They actually want help. Like it's so amazing.
Isn't that crazy how, we limit, both you and I both have experienced the success in the home service business. And then we start this thing and we go right back to those same limiting beliefs we had day one of our business, right? It just blows my mind because I was the same way. I was like, oh man, if we could get 2 or 3 people a month in Gutter Launch, like that'd be awesome. And we onboard like 4 to 6 a week, right? And it's just like,
that's so awesome.
And it's crazy.
Yeah, it's because we're human. That's why we need to be in masterminds. That's why we need to talk to each other, and just it just slaps you. You get slapped across the face like, what am I thinking?
Yeah.
No, like we've got an awesome program. Let's go help some people. So
That's right. That's right. And it does, man. I mean, this weekend has been a whirlwind, and this is not me tooting my own horn. This is just going off of limiting beliefs, right? Last week, I was going through some junk personally, and I was feeling like this big and just like a failure, right? And Friday comes, we have our work company party, right? And we hand out Christmas bonuses. And something that is just tradition is me and my general manager say something nice about every one of the employees as we give them their bonus, right? So we're doing that, and we finish it up. And then every single one of my employees got up and said something nice about me. And I'm just up there fighting back the tears, right? And just getting built up, going from feeling about this big and like a failure to getting built up. And then that night at midnight, I'm long gone, I'm asleep. A fellow looking at getting into Gutter Launch makes a post in my gutter installers page and says, "What do y'all think about Cowboy Colin and Gutter Launch?" And I wake up and it's just like boom, 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 boom. There's like 35 guys in there that are all and girls that are like, "Oh my gosh, Colin, help me with this." And half of them, I don't even recognize the name. So I like click on my messages with them. I'm like, "Oh, we messaged 2 years ago." Right. The impact that we get to have by just putting ourselves out there and being okay with all the hateful comments on TikTok, right? Being all right with all the roasting and all that stuff is worth it when it impacts these people, right? And then that next day, one of my Gutter Launch clients goes live on Facebook and just like talks about how it's changed his life, and he gets to see his wife now because he's following the Gutter Launch model rather than the 30-year-old model that was working fine before but not working great, and just goes off on it. And I'm like, holy cow, like this is so much bigger than myself or just making the gutter business better. Like we're actually changing lives with these programs that we do, right? And you would probably have the same thing, right? You probably have guys that are like, "Man, I'm working 70, 80 hours a week," to now I'm not missing kids' games anymore, right? I'm not missing the ballet recital or any of those things, right? I'm making parent-teacher conferences, and those are huge wins, right? And those are the things we need to be celebrating because those are what really matter, right? Not making more money, right? I mean, making more money is always important, but that's not.
We got to pay for jet fuel. So yeah, don't leave out the money side.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I just think it's so cool when we get to have that impact on people's lives, and it's really easy for us to look at, our mistakes, our failures, or whatever, and not see the impact that is happening by just having a community like we've created, and putting ourselves in those situations, in those masterminds where, it pushes us to be better and serve better. So it's just,
well,
like total tangent.
The community thing is huge too. Like I didn't even really, I was going to say I underestimated it, but I didn't even really plan for it. I thought like all the pressure was going to be on me. Like I got to have all the answers to all the things. And I'm like, I don't know if I do know all the answers for one. And then like, well, there's other people that know more than me. So like, what if they ask a question, all these types of things. So with the community, man, I mean, someone goes on and shares some vulnerability, like how they're struggling. And then the team pulls in and like helps them out, or someone shares a win and like, here's what they did. Now all of a sudden it motivates 20 more people to, work maybe an extra hour that day and then gets result in their life. And I mean, I feel like I could just leave my program right now and like the community would keep it going.
Right.
Like it's like, I'm like, I have no control over this. Like, this is you guys doing your thing. It's magical.
It is. And kudos to you for creating a place where they can do that. Right. Like I don't know. It's incredible.
Yeah, I didn't even do it. Like, I mean, I guess like, I facilitated it, but like, I'm not a culture creator. I'm not known for that. You know what I mean? Like they really did that. So I think it's just amazing. I
mean, it's a testament to the right people, the right mindset, the right coaching. And you just created a bunch of people that want to give bigly. Right.
Hey, speaking of giving, are you cool if I give away some money right now to and we'll ask a question to people?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, we're gonna play a gift card giveaway. If you guys are here live, this is your chance. You actually get paid to listen to the show. I mean, how cool is that? Or watch or whatever you're doing. So if you're here live, this is your chance. Let's play a gift card giveaway. Gift card giveaway. All right, it's your chance to win money. I'm going to basically just ask a question right now, you guys. If you're the first person to answer it correctly, you win a $50 gift card. We just mail it out to you and you buy whatever you want with it. You could give it away to someone if you want. But here's the question. The only rule is it has to be the answer that I think is correct. It doesn't matter if it's not the right answer. It's just I'm the only judge here. Colin could,
that is awesome. That is a total Ryan thing to do. Love it.
You could Google it and prove me wrong. It doesn't matter. Like whatever I have written down right here is the answer. Okay. So that's it. So here's the question. If you guys are the first one to answer this correctly, you're going to win the gift card. So here we go. All right. Blank is the amount of light falling on a 12 by 12 inch square 12 inches away from a candle. Do you know the answer?
Is this Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music?
I don't know that we can actually say that because then there might be some copyright infringement.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, it's just some music I found online.
Music you found may or may not have had Regis on it before.
Yeah. Blank is the amount of light falling on a 12 by 12 inch square 12 inches away from a candle. I pretty much gave you the answer in the question, so if you don't get this right. All right, so we got some people putting some guesses in. We got candle power incorrect. We got the winner. I don't know who this is. So shoot me a message and we'll get you hooked up. But the answer is foot candle. So foot candle. It's Brian Dank, man. This guy, the lighting lizard, this guy wins like 90% of the time. He's collecting this. He's probably got like $2,000 worth of gift cards at this point.
Wait. Did he just say who it is by the lizard emoji and you just knew?
That's his like brand. You know,
That's
he's the
awesome.
lighting lizard.
That is so cool.
I know, it's awesome. And yeah, he just got his brand redone and stuff like that. He's a good dude, man. He's doing well. So here's the deal, guys. The reason I brought this up is because most of us, myself included, because I look back at some of my former projects, I'm like, man, at the time I thought it looked really good. But now that I've been attending a lot of lighting design classes and stuff like that, I'm like, probably could have not done it like that. So a full moon, you guys, a full moon only produces less than 1/10 of a foot candle. So go light a candle tonight, get it a foot off, 12 inches high, just set it there on the ground and see how much light comes on 1 foot away, 12 inches by 12 inches. And you'll see it's not that much light, right? And so if a full moon, go out when it's a full moon and see how much you can see. You can see very well in a full moon. It's like 1/100th. It's something small. It's barely a foot candle. So make sure you're not using a ton of light on your projects. I know sometimes pictures and videos make them look brighter than they are, but you don't have to use a ton of light. If there's a lot of ambient light, typically you have to elevate the amount of light that's there just because you're competing with street lights and neighbors' lights and stuff like that. And if people are older than like 75 years old, then you need brighter lights. But for the most part, most people are overlighting their projects for sure. So keep that in mind. Do your homework, do your research, and make sure to keep your foot candles down. So anyway, that's kind of fun. I like giving money away.
That's awesome.
I don't know that that's give bigly. So what we're doing this next year is that's just like give. That's just like giving. But this next year we're working on this new version of gift card giveaway. That's, let's just say it's going to be giving bigly. It's going to be, yeah. And it's not just going to be for people that are live, because most people, I mean, we get people here live, but the majority listen to it later and watch it later and stuff. So we're going to give them a chance to win. And I'm trying to put together some pretty dang big giveaways for people that are supporting us here on the podcast.
There we go. I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So back to our time with Colin here. I want to ask you, I've never visited your location or anything like that, but even just the story you shared, how you went around and you said something nice around everyone, and then they said something nice about you. I feel like one of the hardest parts of running a business that is it's hard to teach is building culture, right?
Right.
It's easy for me to put a module together on like, here's how to raise your price. Here's how to close a deal on the spot. Like that stuff is really easy for me to teach. Like I know exactly what needs to be done. I have proven metrics. I have all this other stuff,
Right.
but I don't have a module on like how to find good people. Right. I mean, I kind of do, but it's not as scientific. So, but what have you done to be able to recruit the right people for your business?
You know, this is one of those areas where I might say I'm not stupid. I definitely don't have it all figured out, but I think I know a little bit about what I'm doing in this realm.
Nice.
And it's I want to tell everybody what I did, all right, and how we were able to achieve the culture that I desire, the culture that if you've read the book Dream Manager, is like talked about in Dream Manager, all right. So the first time I read Dream Manager, I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I like kind of half-assed did it. Right. And it didn't work. Right. I was like, oh, I care about you guys so much. And I had zero follow through on it. And then I read John Maxwell's 5 Levels of Leadership. And then I finished that book. And then I was like, I'm going to reread Dream Manager. And I was like, holy cow, it clicks. Like now I know how to be a leader so that Dream Manager actually works. Right. And so we did that. And I recognized really quick that I couldn't be the exact leader that half of my team needed. And so I went and hired a new operations manager who was the total opposite of me in every spectrum. He's one of my good friends, but the total opposite. And that's why we were able to be good friends, right? And we could call each other on each other's bull, but we were very opposite and we could see things in different perspectives, right? So I hire him, and that was what we did to correct our crappy environment, our crappy culture. I had some crappy employees, just some junk going on that I didn't know how to fix. And so I hired him, and we were able to fix it. Now we fixed it and we got back to like neutral. And then we kind of capped out with his leadership over that department. He got it back to neutral. But no longer negative, but we kind of capped out because if you've read John Maxwell's 5 Levels of Leadership, level 3 is, your production level, right? And he was not a producer in our field. We do roofing and seamless gutter at our headquarters here. And he could not produce. He just could not wrap his mind around how to do the things, right? Or how to even manage those projects. And so it was mutual. He left, went to a different job, and I hired a new manager, and it just went boom. Like I was very specific on who I wanted, and it was 100% somebody who could do the thing, get to that production level, but also genuinely care about people. And that was able to take us, and he's now my general manager here, but take us to that pinnacle level of company culture. Now, with all that comes making the right hires, but also making the right fires. All right. You will outgrow people. And we still do this. We still do this all the time. We've had to fire 2 or 3 people like sales manager, office manager this year, because we reached a new level that they weren't willing to grow past. They had hit their ceiling. And no matter how much we tried to encourage them to, gave them sledgehammers to break the ceiling, they just didn't want to do it. They're like, nah, the ceiling's okay. I don't want to deal with having to build a new roof over my head, right? And so they just kind of stayed underneath their ceiling. And we had to cut bait with them. And it went smooth, but now we get to continue growing and elevating even more. So that's a lot of words that I just said. But ultimately, it's the right person to get you from negative culture back to even. And then you'll need a different person to take you from neutral up to the level you want to be. And then your team will be a revolving door. Like it's just human nature. Not everybody is cut out to grow at the rate that us as entrepreneurs are and our businesses are growing at. You will outgrow team members. The people who are with you at 500,000 won't be with you at $1 million. At $1 million won't be with you at 2. That 2 won't be with you at 5, right? You're gonna outgrow these people. And we're gonna do probably 15 mil next year. And so I suspect, this year we're gonna finish like 8 mil, right in that
That's
range.
awesome, man. That's huge.
Thank
Congrats,
you.
by the way.
Thank you. But my target was 10, right? So my brain goes there, but
Weak.
yeah, right. But
You only got 8 million.
exactly. But yeah. So next year our goal is 15, and that's going to be. I fully expect to outgrow some more individuals, and that hurts my heart. But they also are never caught off guard by it because we're having regular communication on needing them to grow, right? So that's company culture is like the most important thing in our company, and we do not put up with any bull. If somebody is slacking and not pulling their weight, not caring about the person next to them, they're going to hear about it, right? And we're not going to attack them, but we're going to pull them in the office and be like, hey, what's going on? We recognize this today, and they get an opportunity to explain it. And if they are just like, you know what, I'm just 9 times out of 10, they actually quit themselves because they recognize that they have to do harder things the more that we grow, and they're not willing to do that. They'd rather. I just had a guy quit and take half. He's literally going to go work for half of what he made working for me, so that he can just be comfortable.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to hear you say that because I learned that from reading The Dream Manager too, and I did learn that. Well, one of the things I learned was it's okay to expect people and plan people to leave,
right?
Because you have that talk with them. What's your dream? Well, in 3 years, I want to get this house, or I want to get this career, or I want to do this. Like, well, you're not gonna be able to do that working here. So why don't we do this? Let's build you up over the next 2-3 years. And that's then the whole conversation about recruiting comes into play, because most of us, when I was running my business, I was not running it like that. It was like I expected everyone to stay there forever. I expected everyone to work their ass off for their paycheck, just the old school mentality. And obviously there was some problems with that. But now when you implement that and you're like, well, yeah, they're only going to be here 2 years, but it's okay because we've been recruiting and we have this whole bench of players that we can just call and call the first one. If they're not available, call the second one, third one, fourth one, bring them in for training. Let's do this. So that's huge. That's what makes a well-oiled machine, instead of well, crap, now what are we going to do? The chain broke. Right. Who's got a chain? Does anyone have a chain? Does anyone know how to put on a chain?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
You hit the nail right on the head, man. That's it. Next man up. I'm not a Patriots fan, but the Patriots dynasty was something we could all learn from, right? I have a flag that says "Do your job." And if everybody does their job, everything works, right? That's just it. We say that every Tuesday in our company meeting. Do your job, and everybody else will be able to do their job. If you don't, this is the repercussions, right? It's just the way things go.
Yeah. Another thing I really like that you did as genius is you hire. So we're all, I don't know, I want to say generalize everybody, but for the most part, majority of entrepreneurs, we're not good managers. It's not that we don't like people. It's just that we say we care about them, and we do, but we just don't know how to show it. We don't know how to how we say things isn't always the right way. Right. So what you did was so genius. You just hired the right operations manager.
Exactly.
And why do we fight it? I didn't even know. I needed permission to be wait, I can hire a manager to do that. I thought an entrepreneur was you have to do everything in your business,
right?
And then brag to your friends how awesome it is, even though it's not. And you got to work 106 hours a week and brag about that,
right?
And I was like, wait, no, you can just hire someone that actually is good at managing. So,
yeah,
what did you look for? How do you hire the right operation manager?
Yeah, so that situation actually went the total opposite of how I expected it to go. So he was former Marine hard ass, right? And I was the good guy, right? I was the boss that lived in the gray and let things slide and was everybody's best friend. And I was like, I can't correct this ship because I'm not disciplined enough to be black and white, right? I need you to come in, former Marine, SOPs, this, right? You're black and white and that's it. And what ended up happening is he grew as a leader and started learning that people have feelings and he needs to appeal to those feelings, and not in the business world. It's not the Marines where your comrades don't have an opinion, right? In the business world, your employees actually have opinions and they want to be heard, where in the service, you're not allowed to have an opinion. And if you talk, you're getting your butt whooped, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
And so he was like, holy cow, I'm learning so much about human psychology and how to deal with these people. And so what ended up happening is he became their direct supervisor, and I didn't have to deal with them all the time. I became more black and white, while he was still black and white, but he could live like he cared more, right? That was his job, is to care about these employees. And so he'd come to me and act as like a liaison between them on, whatever, if they wanted raises, if they wanted to work a 4-day week instead of a 5-day week. Like, he was their buddy. I was the bad guy. And I was okay with being the bad guy in that season, because I knew I had some bad eggs that, all right, if I'm the bad guy, right, like, that's okay. We'll replace you with somebody who doesn't view me as the bad guy. And so I just look for somebody the total opposite of me. And that's what I do almost always in hiring people. I don't need another entrepreneur in my business, right? I have enough ideas and I have enough dreams and goals that I don't need somebody else alongside me who's like, hey, we should do this too, and we should do this. Like, no, I need people who can execute. And so what I did is I went and I interviewed. I had a banker, who is total opposite of me. I have a CPA who's total opposite of me. And I went and I interviewed them and was like, what would you look for in a job description? Right? What are things that would appeal to you? And I catered what I was looking for to that. And that was one of the best like black hat magic tricks I ever did. Went and interviewed people that I would want to hire. I offered both of them jobs and both of them declined. But
nice.
But yeah, that was really cool. Interview people who are people you would want to hire and say, what type of pay structure would you want? Would you want a high base salary and low incentives? Would you want a low base and high incentives? What would those incentives need to be? Is a company car important? Is health insurance or 401k important? Like, what are the things you're looking for? What verbiage do I use? What verbiage don't I use? And all those things, right? But then looking for somebody essentially the total opposite of me. And then the bigger thing that the bigger hurdle I had to overcome was allowing them to be better than me at that. Not micromanaging them and just allowing them to succeed me in that position. And that's a part a lot of us entrepreneurs get wrong, is we are the best at sales, at installing the thing, at answering the phone, at managing our people. And it's really hard for us to give up that control. And when I did that, I just told you guys how we had our company party and everybody got up and said something nice about me. And half of them said that they love that I delegate things to them and I don't tell them how to do their job. I delegate and let them do it and trust that they're going to do it well. And I was looking at that negatively, as I delegate and I just push everything off on my people. And they're like, no, we love the responsibility, awesome, but we also love that you just let us do it, right? Most managers or business owners say, hey, do this. No, not that way. Not that way. Like, you're supposed to do it this way. And you just let us do it our way. And we get you the results that you need. So
you got a lot of gold in there. I think about myself delegating, and I keep getting better every year, even though I'm still not like the best at it.
Right.
But I think about like version 1 of me delegating. Here, do this, and then watching and like, no, wait, why are you doing it like that? No, do it like this. I'm like, I'm not delegating. I'm commanding someone how to do
it. Right.
So then it is hard to let go. But what I've found is like you do have to just like almost here it is and then walk away, because the reason we hired them is to do it and not us. And we're going to get in the way and screw things up. I used to have, when I finally got my business to where we had like salespeople and install and stuff like that, I would go into my office and I wanted to feel important. And so I'd be like, hey, what do we got going on here? And I'd be like, well, wait, why are we doing it like this? And I start questioning everything. And like, they had the whole thing set up to work until I came in, and my office manager was always like, we don't, like, can you not come in?
Right.
Like, every time you come here, you screw things up. And I was like, at first you're like, dude, that's hurtful. Like, I'm a human being too. But after a while, you're like, actually, it's probably best that I don't.
That's right.
Because it's not the way I would do it. And that's the point. Because if it was me doing it, I'm just an entrepreneur that doesn't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like let's let them do it.
That nail on the head, man. Like that. I actually come to my brick and mortar office to test my skills on not getting involved in their crap. Right. And yeah, it works. I mean, it continues to make me a better delegator. And everybody in this building has the permission to tell me to go kick rocks. Some of them have permission to say, Colin, F off, right? But most of them are like, Colin, go kick rocks. We got this. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Right. Every single person, the moment I meet them, I tell them, hey, if I come in and tell you how to do your job, you just tell me go kick rocks. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Even though I sign the checks, you can tell me to go kick rocks. And that's really freeing for a lot of them.
Yeah, big time. Well, that's awesome, man. We talked about a lot of good stuff. I think we'll leave it with that. If someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they find out more about Gutter Launch? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah. Where I'm on Facebook as Colin DeHaan. We are on Instagram as _Cowboy Colin, I believe. I don't do my own Instagram, _Cowboy Colin. And then TikTok _Cowboy Colin as well. Those are the best ways. We're also on YouTube as Cowboy Colin. So you can reach us on any of those platforms. All of them, and the link is in the bio for Gutter Launch if you're interested in learning more about that. Would love to talk to any of you guys, right? So send us a DM, send me a personal message on Facebook. I am pretty darn good at responding to those within 12 hours, right? I'm not on it all day long. So yeah.
Within the first 30 seconds or we're out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. If you want me directly, go Facebook. I don't really do the Instagram and TikTok. My social media guy does all that for me. But if you ask the right questions, he'll come to me and you'll get the answers. So
all right, man. Well, thanks again. Thanks a ton for coming on here, sharing your story, sharing your gold nuggets, all that stuff. I really, really appreciate that. And I appreciate our relationship, man.
Me too, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me. I love being here, man. You've got an awesome listener base. So thank you for sharing me with them.
All right, man. Hey, guys, don't forget to implement. All right. He shared a lot of good stuff with us. That's easy to listen. It's hard to implement. So go get it. We'll see you next week.